Take two on this video. The first one didn't actually say anything. I couldn't hear anything when I tried it. But this post is basically on winter van life. This is going to be an edited video, so I'm going to put a few pictures on it just to explain everything, and hopefully it kind of makes sense to you guys. But firstly, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been so supportive of my channel, of like what I've been talking about on all the contributions in the group. I want to say a special thank you to the admins and the moderators who've been, very keen on helping me out and helping me share my story, despite Facebook trying to just block me from their, I don't know, whatever they do nowadays with big social media channels. I'm just trying to keep it real, and until one day I might just get, one day these people might block me, and I don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, wintertime van life camping, how was it for me? To be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think it was that difficult because the main things were set up. I think people do worry a lot, and especially if you're part-time van lifer, this is your opportunity to try things out. Hire a camper van, use a setup, see what works for you, what doesn't, before you jump into full-time, otherwise you ain't got many options. So, number one, most important thing to start off with is diesel heater. I don't know what you guys use, but I use a diesel heater to get me through the winter. I think I did post an earlier video about this, but I'm doing one again anyway because I think it would be nice. Another person's asked the same question, so I thought I'd go through it again. So diesel heater. The great thing about that is it doesn't take a lot of power, and if you get it set up properly, if you need a professional, get a professional to do it. I had an old mate of mine do it for me. That keeps you warm. But yeah, that's the number one thing, especially in a smaller van. I don't have a smallest van, but if you have a smaller van, it's going to be even easier. But if you don't have a diesel heater, try with a gas heater or those propane heaters, although they do burn fuel like crazy, so you have to buy quite a few and it'll be a bit more expensive. But it's still a good backup option. Number two is wear layers. I remember when I was having winter over in Portsmouth, in Portsdown Hill, near enough those areas. I spent a lot of my winter there, as well as Fareham. I wore a lot of layers. I wore 3 coats. I wore my normal raincoat. Well, I wore my ski jacket. Then on top of that, I wore my raincoat. And then on top of that, I wore my big blue, thick, high-vis blue coat, whatever that was, from that work provided me. So I wore those 3 layers. I then wore my under trousers, which are like pyjamas. I normally wear that anyway nowadays. I've kind of got into the habit of that ever since winter. So I wear that, all pyjamas. Then on top of that, wear my chinos. Then on top of that, wear my waterproofs. Or I want to go and get some more stylish waterproofs. Don't know how minimalist that sounds, but I want to get some nice waterproofs that don't make me look homeless as much as you might have seen in my hermit picture. So yeah, that was how I used to dress, and also wore 2 pairs of socks. I had 1 pair of socks, and then I had a thermal socks, which I made the mistake of wearing in bed once, which made my feet quite itchy. So, but layers help. In hindsight, if I'm doing it again, well, hopefully I will be doing it again because I do want to get back in. I do want to keep doing what I'm doing. I would get a sleeping bag. I'd also probably get a onesie that I can just take off, later on, and maybe, if I'm going outside, just wear my onesie, my thermal onesie, something like that. Thermal onesie might help. So yeah, winter does take a bit more power in the van, but it's not really that difficult once you know what you're doing. What other tips for winter? Your glass will freeze. I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video, so this might be a bit more useful. So not your glass windscreen. Your windscreen will frost up quite a bit, and you won't be able to see through it because you're using diesel heater. So I don't know it's not really called antifreeze, but there's something you can put on your windscreen. I think it's some people do toothpaste. Don't take my ideas on this one, because I actually, this is the one thing I haven't quite cracked yet with the winter, because I ended up having to scrape it with my bare hands. But your inside of the windscreen will like frost up, and so if you can find some things that help for that, especially if you've got a diesel heater, then that will be something that will be really useful for you guys. This is something, especially if you're going into winter, waking up in the morning, you don't really want to be dealing with that. I had to go to work, so it was the last thing I wanted to deal with, was have to deal with the inside of my windscreen and windows being frozen. Well, I didn't really want that happening in 4 AM on the winter. But yeah, I generally enjoyed winter van life. I generally enjoyed it. It was obviously a little bit of an adventure, but I generally enjoyed it. it's just amazing. It's the best feeling because once you crack through winter, every other season becomes a lot more easier. Obviously, with the exclusion of summer heat waves, where it's really hot on the ground, which touch wood or touch the leaf, it's not. But yeah, that's something that I would say is is quite important. So what else? Knowledge can I impart, or experience can I impart? That's really it. Clothes, insulation. Obviously for insulation, if you're building it fresh, brand new, get a bit of sheep's wool, pad it up with some sheep's wool around your van. Natural insulation if you're starting afresh, and obviously get some ventilation as well, just to make sure that you're not pumping in too much heat, and there's a way for you to breathe properly. Don't overthink it, to be honest. I think, so some people I think even car camp in the winter, and that's my ideas. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, if you did listen to the Red Borders video, thank you so much once again. So I think you guys, girls, are so amazing. I love reading your comments, whether you agree with me or not. It's just the energy in this group is amazing, and that's why I keep doing what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm just hoping for. I'm just excited, man. I'm excited. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm under a lot of issues at the moment, which I haven't quite talked about yet. But I don't know what's going to happen, guys. I'm trying to survive and see what happens next. So speak to you soon, guys. See you later.